Sennheiser HD58X Jubilee, the headphone that Mastrop and Sennheiser released in collaboration to remember the HD580 Jubilee, which came out in the 1990s, as a 50-year anniversary celebration for Sennheiser. They retail at around $150, but you have to wait quite some time for them, unless you happen to be one of the people that got in last into this drop, which I did, and I only had to wait like 2-3 weeks for them or something like that. I don't remember. And yeah, let's go over the build quality. These are made of plastic for the most part. The only metal is present here in the bridge between the cups and the headband. It's a very, very good plastic. Very, very nice. Here you have some gray grills, which also look very nice. The cups, the size of the cups. I should let you know that they look very, very similar to the HD600 line, which these are a part of. However, compared to, say, my 6XX over here, these cups, and I'm talking about the cup plus the pad altogether, if you can tell right there, if you can tell right there, these are a tad bit narrower than these. Just a tad bit narrower. Not noticeable enough to make them less comfortable in any way, no. But noticeable enough for you to say, for you to feel a difference when you're putting them on and off your head and using them overall. They feel a tad bit narrower, which is not a problem for me. I still found these to be very, very comfortable. Unlike the HD600 line, where you can see the driver in there like that, so beautiful like that. And that's something I really like about the Sennheiser HD600 line. With these you can't, not only because it's a gray color scheme of the grill, but because there's a bit of a foam in between the grill and the actual driver, which does something to the sound. I really don't think it prevents sound leakage because these leak a little more than these, pardon the voice crack. So I don't know why that's there, but it's there for a reason, and they make them sound good. Speaking of sound, the sound quality. Sound quality of the 58X Jubilee is absolutely delicious. It's very, very nice. It's a very, very neutral sound signature overall. A little drier than the average HD600 sound signature. Not just HD600s themselves, but all of the line. The 600, 650s, 58X, It's a bit drier. Now, in comparison to the 6XX, they are less warm, meaning they have less mid-bass. However, they have more sub-bass and better bass extension, meaning how low does it go. As far as the treble goes, it's not that they extend higher per se than the 6XX. They just have the treble's a little more present, just a little more present. And the mid-range is not as present as the 6XX. They're not, like, if you're getting these to separate vocals from everything else, they'll do a decent job at it. They will, because it's part of the HD600 line, but not as good as the 6XX or the 600s. They'll still do a good job at it, though. Overall, I really, really love the sound signature of these, and I would keep them if I didn't have these already. Because these, yes, despite the treble being a little less present, which is not something I like, yes, they're a little warmer with the mid-bass, which is not really something I like, especially for genres like, metal and rock, and something that isn't bass heavy. These just have a more euphonic, like juicy sound signature. Like, it's like that steak you order at a restaurant, Well, you could be a well done kind of guy, or medium to the medium, right? You could be a medium to well done kind of guy, or you could be a rare to medium rare kind of guy, that's what I go for. These are juicy. They're more euphonically rich. And when compared to the 600s, which I haven't had for a few months, I barely remember them, but just enough to tell you that despite despite the fact that those were less warm and less had less mid bass than these, they still had that juiciness to the music. It wasn't dry or stale in any way. And these are not dry and stale either, but they're closer to that. Now, in comparison to the K7XX, which is a headphone I've had for a little more than a year now, these have a similar sound signature, but not so similar to say they're the same headphone. It's like this, to my ears. You take the AKG K7XX, you give it the Sennheiser sound signature, the house sound signature twist, and then you give them a little extra sub bass in terms of quantity. And then you put them in a Sennheiser package. And these are more or less what these are. It's like more mids, stronger vocal presence than the K7XX. Just about as much treble presence and a little more sub bass than the K7XX. So these are, like, to my ears, and despite this not probably being a popular opinion, but the HD600 line, very, very neutral, yet I feel these can be a bit more neutral because of the overall drier, plainer, here you go sound signature. Now let's not talk about music, let's talk about overall enjoyment. Anything you would use a headphone for. I would have kept these if I didn't have these yet. Because the absolute nothing forward, nothing back, nothing recessed, nothing, it's just their sound signature of the AKGs makes them perfect for watching videos and watching movies or playing games or listening to music, and you'll know that absolutely nothing will be sibilant or too loud or too quiet, or there's nothing missing. Everything is there. It's a very comfortable sound signature, very laid back. Plus the sub bass, actually, the extra rumble is very, very good for watching movies, I've found. So no, in comparison to my AKGs, despite these feeling like they have a little better resolution, I'd rather keep the AKGs. Now, the 6XX have a little better resolution than the 58X Jubilee. They do. It's just a tiny bit more. It's like those $50 extra that you pay for the 6XX are worth it because of the slightly better resolution. But the $150 you pay for these are also worth it because they're also very good. So yes, my personal opinion, I like the 6XX a little better than the 58X Jubilee. But the 58X Jubilee is still a very, very, very good headphone. And let me put it to you this way. If only one from the Sennheiser HD600 line existed, I would love that one, regardless of which it was, whether it was the 600, the 6XX, or the 58X Jubilee. Between the 600 and 6XX, I still can't decide which I prefer. I honestly can't. It just happens that I have these and I don't have the 600s, but no particular reason for those yet. However, with these, I can safely say that the 6XX, despite not being as good for power metal or for less bass heavy music, I much more prefer, because to me, it felt like a more correct, like more neutral, more correct, yet juicy and delicious sound signature. But yeah, that's about it. Listen, if we're talking $150 versus $200, it all depends on the wait. I'm pretty sure the wait is the same amount of time for both of them anyway, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. But yeah, here's the thing. Between these two, I recommend the 6XX over the 58X Jubilee. But if for some reason you can get these at a very, very good price, go for the 58X Jubilee. And yeah, that's going to be about it. Sorry, I forgot to mention this. You know this, it's a 1/4 inch adapter, but it's a 3.5 millimeter plug-in. So that's what you get. And these also come in very, very basic packaging compared to these, which come with the nice Sennheiser box that these come with. So if you care about packaging, which I actually do because I like putting it up like a, not like a trophy, but like decoration on my stand, you put these. You get these. All right. You know what? I'm not gonna bore you anymore. That is the review. And yeah, whichever one you get, you'll be happy with. But if you had a perfect choice, same amount of waiting time, if you have those extra $50, go for these. They're worth it. All right.